This is what I call my poor man's locomotive. I have a total of $2.22 invested in it. I picked up the chassis for $2 at a train show. And it looks like this might have been just dummy trucks, and there's probably just weights here, and the person fitted a motor in there and put in the drive linkage. So I decided to snatch it up while I could. The front end here is rounded, which would work good for my streamlined locomotive shells. I wanted the shell to fit securely, but the problem I ran into is it was so loose. So what I did was I took this is a V-groove styrene. I'm not sure if we can see, there you can see the lines in it there. And I used it simply because I could use it to make sure it was straight on the chassis. So I think if you look closely, the side is down just a hair. But anyway, I then took a piece of thin styrene rod, glued that on there, and shaved it so it would fit into this notch here. And the one thing I found is, even when I made that set in there, the shell had too much rocking action. So then I took some styrene L brackets and I shaved it down so I just had like a small lip or a shelf for the shell to fit on. So I take it and go to place it on there, and you can hear it pop that it snapped into place on both sides. And with my little tabs here, the shell stays pretty solid on there. The only problem is it's too light. So here's where the extra 22 cents came in. These are my weights right here. These are just pennies wrapped in electric tape. Like I said, it's a poor man's locomotive. What I did was I've got 3 pennies and 3 pennies, and I taped them together so that they would fit around this little catch here, this little framework here. And that slides on there. This is 3 and 3. So this goes on the back part. There we go. Now for the front, I could only put 2 pennies in the front, 3 pennies in the back of the truck. So when I slide that in there, come on, there we go. That locks in pretty nicely. This slips in here, locks in pretty nicely. Now, if some of you guys watching are thinking, wow, this is a nearly pathetic attempt at salvaging a locomotive, I'd say you're right. But I like to have fun. I like projects. As my buddy Ron would say, I have enough projects already, but let's take on more. So I've got 6 cents here, 6 cents here, 5 cents here, 5 cents here. There's my 22 cents. That's the full $2.22 invested in this locomotive. The person who put the motor in, the wires from these trucks went to the motor. The wires from the front truck only went to the light. So I did have to run jumper wires from the truck to the motor there, and from the truck on this side. Well, actually I ran it from the light because it came from a wire up here to the light, then I ran that back to the motor. So now all 8 wheels have electrical connection to the track, and this thing runs pretty nicely. I've acquired a couple new Haven passenger cars that I'm going to run with this, and I think it's a sleeper car and a regular passenger car. So I will take this out on the test track and we'll see how everything looks. All right, let's see how this thing runs for us. I'm back at the table because I decided that my New Haven needed a dummy unit. So this was I believe this was a Baltimore and Ohio locomotive. I'm not sure where I got the shells at, but it had the gears in this were torn up, and it was not. It would run. It had a really loud clicking noise. This is a pancake motor. Inside there, there's like about 5 gears, and the 2 drive gears were cracked. So with 2 cracked drive gears that go to each pair of wheels here, it was pretty noisy. So I decided to make a dummy unit of it, and took all the guts out of this pancake motor because I can use those parts to help rebuild some of my other trains. And I took, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, looks like there's 3 or 4 metal plates here for weights. I took there was about 4 or 5 I took off, and then I created these little shims for the screws and help hold the weights. This is actually square tubular styrene. So using the square tubular styrene, I could put the screw in, use the same length screws for installing it and holding it in place. And I'm going to hook this up to the other locomotive, and we're going to test run the 2 of them together. All right, with my dummy unit on the track, I just want to turn on some power to see if I can get the light going. So we see the light moving and the train leaving without it. So let's bring that back. Let's bring that back to the dummy unit. There we go, we got a connection. Let's go forward.